right, David. So we talk a lot about identity and having that identity shift, and how if you can shift your identity, it can have a direct correlation to the results and the success that you see on a daily basis. And I completely agree with that. But my question for you is, what tips, tricks, advice do you have for somebody who's maybe struggling to actually change their identity and they're just stuck holding on to who they currently are? I think a lot of times it takes us to hit rock bottom before we can have that identity shift and change. But what if someone doesn't want to go through hitting rock bottom before they change? What advice do you have someone right now who's maybe average but feels like there's something more? How can we actually shift that identity? Thanks a ton.
Brody's question, and by the way, Brody, thank you very much for the submission. You've asked a couple questions now, and they're always really good. Had to do with changing your identity is hard. And typically people don't do it until they hit rock bottom. Now, just the phrase rock bottom typically means I can't go any lower. And the idea is if you hit the bottom, but you could go lower, you'll go lower before you'll change and you'll actually look up. And this is absolutely a human problem. Behaviors typically don't change until we have no other option. Now, why is that? That's the question that I ask. One of the answers that I've come up with, I think that myself and other people don't change until we hit rock bottom, is because most of us had developed our identity and our value system based on avoiding pain. That is just the knee-jerk response that every human being has. We become who we are, our fitness level, how much we care about how we look, the friends that we develop, the work we get into, how committed we're going to be, the effort we put into something, mostly just to avoid pain. That's why you typically find really successful people. It's so hard to find one that didn't have massive pain when they were younger. That pain becomes a motivation that almost everybody goes through. So here's what I'm getting at. Changing your identity is incredibly hard if you're not in pain. If you're comfortable, you might just not ever do it. And you'll keep hearing us talk about it, but you're never going to do anything. Here's the good news. You are in pain. Every one of us are in pain. Pain is constant. Pain is persistent. Pain is consistent. Pain is everywhere. Sometimes we don't experience pain. And that's because we numb ourselves, we compartmentalize, we block it out. We avoid the things that would remind us that we are in pain. So you don't have to go find a way to create pain. And if I want to help somebody change, I don't have to go hurt them and say, okay, change. I just have to remove the numbness, the things that we've done instead to kind of stop the pain from affecting us. So when Brandon says, well, you could just go watch Dancing with the Stars is just a way to avoid pain. You're not happy with your life. You're not happy with your finances. You're not happy with your future. So you're numbing yourself with Dancing with the Stars, but that doesn't make it better. If we took away Dancing with the Stars, and then we took away the Oreo cookies, and then we took away the shallow relationships, and we just took away everything that we used to find comfort, you would find yourself with a whole lot of pain. And the gift is you'd have a whole lot of motivation to go out there and do something else. So to your question, Brody, how do you motivate yourself if you haven't hit rock bottom? Don't wait to hit rock bottom. Start taking away the things that you're comforting yourself with right now, and you know what they are. I know what the things are that I comfort myself with that I shouldn't be. I just don't address them. You guys know what it is also. Get real with yourself. And if for some reason you just can't, go find another person that you trust and say, what are the ways you think that I numb myself or I comfort myself when I really shouldn't? You'd be amazed at what you will realize you're doing that you never consciously chose that is dictating the way that your life goes. The other thing is if you project yourself in the future and you say, I could have in 20 years, 100 doors, more money than I would ever need, more influence, security, all these things that I value. But if I stay the same way right now, I'm not going to have it. You will experience the pain of loss if you can fast forward yourself 20 years. If you just stay where you are right now, you're just going to think, well, I have everything I need. I'm good. And you're never going to make a decision. If you force yourself to think ahead and you realize I'm not going to have what I could have, you will experience the pain that will make changing your identity different. I know this wasn't just about real estate, but I think it has a lot of impact on the way that people will find success, especially through real estate. So thank you for asking that. And thank you for letting me answer.